Hey folks, rinimt here, and welcome back to Slay the Princess, the Pristine Cut. Thank you, Serenity Forge, for the code. Let's go to the cabin.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Proceed.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
No blade.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Continue down the stairs.
Good. You're still listening to reason. It would be better if you had a weapon, but you may still be able to do what needs to be done. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
Let's talk first.
Okay.
Alright, good talk. Bye!
Thank you. You turn back to the stairs, intent on retrieving the blade in the cabin.
Where are you going? You can't just leave me here. You'd better hope for your own sake that I don't slip these chains before you make it back down here.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here. But do you hear the conviction in her voice? I don't think she's bluffing. She has to be bluffing, but I'd hurry if I were you. You rush up to the first floor, grabbing the blade, both yours and the world's only possible salvation. Okay, if we're sure about this decision, I'll support it. I suppose we have a world to save after all. You slowly creep down the basement stairs. It's quiet. Where the princess sat only a moment ago, there's only a severed arm, its cooling flesh still chained to the wall. And she is nowhere to be seen. Is it just me? Or did this room get a lot bigger?
Let's finish this.
Your eyes dart to the corners of the room. You don't see her. Where is she?
Close the door behind you.
You close the door behind you. Almost magically, its locks immediately click into place. Maybe they'll open if you finish the job.
Come on out. Let's just get this over with.
I can wait. I'm very patient.
Wait.
You do your best to patiently wait her out. But eventually, exhaustion starts to set in. Come on, wake up. We can't fall asleep down here.
Wait.
You wait for as long as you can, pushing yourself to stay awake and stay vigilant. But you can't outwait someone who's been waiting for as long as she remembers. You barely even realize that you've started to drift off. Pain tears you from your sleep. The princess is upon you, ripping into your flesh, unnaturally sharp teeth and claws severing arteries and digging into organs. There's nothing to be done. You're already half gone. It can't just end like this, right? As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. I'm sorry, but it's over. Everything goes dark, and you die.
The beast?
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Proceed.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. Does a cat lie to a cornered mouse when it plays with its freedom? Or is it just acting out its nature? I don't see why that matters. A lie's a lie, and if anything, she's the one who's cornered. She could have gotten out of there whenever she wanted to. We should trust nothing that she tells us, only what we hear and smell. That's a very roundabout way of saying that you should listen to me and take this seriously. Maybe.
Proceed.
The interior of the cabin is ruinous and dilapidated. It feels like no one has lived here for a long time, wind rushing in through cracks and holes in the wooden walls. The only furniture of note is a termite-eaten table with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
No blade.
No steel claw. Do you think we can talk our way out of this? I don't think she wants to talk. I guess we'll just have to trust that we made the right call. It'll still be here if we need it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing what's left of an old wooden staircase. It's still sturdy enough that you can make your way down in one piece, though you'll have to be mindful of holes. The air seeping up from below is oddly warm and wet, as if you're descending into a jungle. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. She growls up the stairs.
I can smell you.
She sounds almost feral, impatient, or maybe eager. You carefully make your way down the stairs. The last step gives way to the damp earth floor of a starlit pit. The walls are obscured by an impenetrable darkness, giving the illusion that the room might stretch on forever. You brush against the wide leaves of plants that surround you on all sides, seemingly the only living things that occupy this strange underground wilderness. The jungle is pressing in on us, hiding her from view. She could be anywhere. You see only a flash of the princess before she scurries away into the underbrush, dragging her heavy chain behind her. Remember, she's just a princess. She is certainly not just a princess. You're not helping. It doesn't matter what she is. It only matters what she does. Her shining eyes appear between the leaves, staring hungrily at you from the darkness.
I can hear your heart pounding from the bottom of the stairs, fledgling. You're right to be terrified. I'm so much more than you.
A shiver rushes up your spine and pulls you upright. The air's shifting. She's getting ready to pounce. Move, now.
Move.
You lunge to the side, picking a direction on instinct. As you land, you're buffeted by a gust of air, disturbed by the sudden motion of a massive body. The princess. In an instant, she's pounced on the spot where you would have been, her chains rattling across the floor behind her. Before you can blink, she's gone, vanishing once more into the shadows. But you still feel her gaze on you.
You're faster than you were before, but you're still meek, reactive, prey.
You whirl around to find her, and your gaze meets hers, a pair of shining eyes peering out at you from just beyond the basement stairs. So she's cut off our escape. Shit. What do we do?
We're going to ask, what do you want?
I want to swallow you whole, and I will get what I want. You have no exit. You have no hope. You live and die by my whims, and my whims alone.
Don't ask her what she wants. Just run for the blade upstairs and slay her with it. Is that all the advice you have? We don't even know what she looks like. Some specifics would be very helpful. She's just a princess. Don't overthink it. She is clearly not.
Why? Why do you want to kill me?
Why does anything kill anything else? She needs to.
I didn't say I wanted to kill you.
It sounds like she wants to do something even worse. What she wants only matters if she wins, and you're not going to let that happen. She's coiling for another strike. Be somewhere else. We're on the back foot. The back foot keeps us nimble, keeps us alive. It doesn't matter if it keeps us alive if it eventually kills us. We need to take back the momentum. We need to do something.
We're going to toss one of my trusty saves here, just in case, and we're going to play dead.
We're playing dead. It's unexpected. It could work. As the princess lunges from the shadows once more, you collapse to the ground, feigning death. She lands directly on top of you with her full weight, nearly crushing you into the dirt, but then silence, only broken by the sound of your beating heart. It actually worked, didn't it? Only, what do we do to make her leave? Do we just keep playing dead? She sniffs at you, shifting her weight uncomfortably as her face finds yours. Her breaths are hot and oppressive against your skin.
Have you seen my great big eyes? Because they see you, fledgling. They see your heartbeat pulsing in your throat.
Move, now! But it's too late for you to move. Her jaw unhinges, and she swallows you whole. I guess that's it then, isn't it? Unfortunately for you, no, this isn't it. You are in a dark and caustic place. A thick, fibrous lining constricts around you, its slick surface impossible to grip. Your hands scrabbling uselessly at your surroundings as they compress in on you. Your lungs can barely expand in such a tiny space. Not that the humid, finite air grants you more than a few shallow breaths at a time.
Alright, we don't need to keep going on that. We just need to grab that real quick. We're going to load and survive.
You spin into a new patch of jungle, barely moving out of the way before the princess surges past you with a speed that makes her practically unseen.
Actually... No, this is fine. It's fine. Pivot. Why do you want to eat me?
I don't question who I am or what I want. I simply do. To act is always better than to react. To do is always better than to watch.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but you do well to listen to her. Less standing around asking questions, more doing exactly as I say.
Stop hiding and show yourself.
If you want to see me, you should get better at seeing.
She knows that her strength lies in shadows and secrets. She won't reveal herself unless she has to. A tickling sensation rises at the base of your neck. Flee. We can't keep doing this.
Stay alive.
You're a little slow this time. Or maybe she's a little faster. You avoid her slavering jaws, but she manages to graze you, her titanic momentum skinning you along your side. It's like being sideswiped by sandpaper. How is she that fast?
You're bleeding now.
You instinctively touch your side, testing her claim. It's wet, and stings from the gentle touch of your fingertips. A costly mistake. We can't make it again. We will make it again unless something changes. We have to break the pattern. We need more time. She's cutting off our escape.
Our game is nearing its end.
You're deflecting.
And you bear your weakness to the world.
She's more tense this time. She means this next blow to be the last. The mere thought of moving again makes your bloodied side ache. We're exhausted. We're bleeding. We're still alive. We owe it to ourselves to move.
Again.
Once again, you narrowly avoid the full force of the impact, and once again you are too slow to come away unscathed. You're starting to get tired. You're making mistakes. This isn't working. We have to do something. We have to figure out a plan. Don't plan ahead. Act on the now. All that matters is that we stay alive. We're trying, but we can't keep this up much longer. We have to. We keep up or we die.
You're getting slow.
She seizes the opportunity, lunging once again from the darkness, fangs bared and claws flashing. She attacks over and over and over, and each time she leaves with a little piece of you. Too tired to think, but we have to think. We have to move. It's too late. Before you get the chance to react, it's over. She makes her last foray from the dark corners of the room, unhinging her dripping maw, her eyes fierce and full of hunger. You do your best to dive out of the way, and you partially succeed. Partially? Yes, the princess fails to swallow you whole. She only swallows your lower body. That's just as bad. That's worse, even. It's death either way. At least this will be a faster end. You look down to see that the dirt between you is strewn with your intestines, trailing all the way up and disappearing behind her blood-stained teeth. Your legs are nowhere to be seen. You start to go into shock. The princess bloody saliva dripping from her lips, idly gnaws on what's left of you as you rapidly fade away.
I didn't mean to do that. I still need to devour you, and it doesn't count if you're dead.
We're not dead, we're... But you don't have time to protest her premature observation of your death, because everything goes dark, and you die.
The den.
You're on a path in the woods. That didn't work. We're going in with a plan this time. We're not getting stuck in another loop, just acting on instinct. We're stuck in a big enough loop as it is. Instinct was keeping us alive. Until it wasn't. So what are we supposed to do? Great, so you've been here before. That doesn't bode well. You're not supposed to have been here before. This is supposed to be one and done. So you know more than you're letting on. Yeah, what he said. Of course I do, but believe me, it's in your best interests. The more you know about the princess, the more difficult your task will be. And why is that? Having me explain why would defeat the whole purpose. There are simply some things I'm not allowed to tell you. It's a hard rule. And whose rule is it? Who's telling you to boss us around? We've died twice already, and if you want us to stay alive this time, it's in your best interests to give us an edge. It's my rule, and this conversation is over.
I just need to double check a thing with the den. Check which Okay. It's fine. Proceed.
You make your way down to the cabin. Your fated confrontation awaits. You know what to do. So, we need a plan. We've been over the plan. Goad her out of the shadows. Make her show herself. And what if she doesn't want to be seen? We'll figure out a way to make it happen. And if that doesn't make her any easier to find, it will. It's always easier to fight what you can see, no matter how big or toothy she might be. She spent as much time as she could in the shadows, so we're gonna draw her out. But she's fast, and she's clever. We're clever too, so this time we're not gonna let her cut off our escape. We're gonna lead her to the stairs ourselves. It'll be a lot easier to deal with her once we can actually see what she is. But you already know what she is. She's a princess. Yeah, right. A princess we couldn't see, and one that had big, sharp teeth too. How about you stick to describing things and we'll stick to doing our job? Sharp teeth.
Maybe we'll check again. Memory, goldfish. Okay. Proceed.
The interior is dark and overgrown. Vines and brush obscure so much of the place that, had you not seen the exterior, you might not have noticed this was a cabin at all. The only furniture of note, if you could call it that, is a knotted stump, a pristine blade embedded in its exposed rings. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you're going to do this right. If there's a way forward, that mirror is blocking it off. What are you talking about? There is no mirror. It's just the stump and a narrow tunnel that leads to the basement. He isn't tricking us. Can you feel the wind? It's telling us there's a hole in that wall. Our eyes deceive us. Then either way, we need to investigate. Might as well get started.
Take the blade.
Yes, take the steel claw. You pull the blade from the stump, gripping it tight. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Odds are we'll need it. Thanks for not putting us in a bad spot.
Approach the mirror.
You step forward, approaching the small hole that leads to the basement, hesitating before you enter the princess's lair. Haven't you been paying attention? We're not hesitating. This supposed hole is blocked by that old mirror. That mirror isn't part of this place. It's seeped through from somewhere else. It, if there even is an it, is a hallucination. Like you said, you've been here twice before. Your mind was bound to start playing tricks on you eventually. It's so grimy. Maybe we can wipe it clean and finally get a look at ourselves.
Wipe it clean.
You reach forward and wave your hand over the open hole leading to the basement. See? Nothing. Tricks of the eye. No one sense can be trusted on its own. You step forward into the darkness. If there were once stairs leading into the basement, there is nothing left to attest to their existence now. There is only a long tunnel of packed earth, growing more narrow as you descend. It smells of mold and decay. The damp walls leave streaks of dirt along your body as you're forced to hunch, then finally squat down on all fours in order to continue. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favour. As you crawl forward on hands and knees, you're met only with the sounds of ambient earth. No voice slinks confidently up the stairs, no entity threatens violence or pleads for safety. Stay quiet. Don't give her a sound.
Silently proceed.
You say nothing, maintaining the silence as you carefully make your way down into the basement. The basement is dark and cavernous, a gaping maw threatening to swallow you whole. There is no light here, save for what little starlight has managed to filter down the tunnel. And though you can't see the vastness of the space, you can feel it. You're exposed. Stay on your toes. We take a step into the shadows, and as soon as she moves, we jump back, make her follow. From there, we trap her in the tunnel, draw her out of the cabin, whatever it takes to get her out of her element. Then we're safe.
Let's drop one of those infamous saves and step into the shadows ready to fight.
You step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest, ears pricked, eyes wide despite the inky blackness, waiting for any sign of movement. There, she's about to strike. We're screwed. I know, this wasn't part of the plan. We were supposed to come down here prepared. Oh, what's the use? You just barely make out the shape of teeth and eyes as the princess emerges, enormous maw gaping, ready to swallow you whole. And...
But he doesn't respond. Eyes glance at you from the untextured threads of a world unraveled. Am I free? They ask. Did not get the chance to respond? Nor will you ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns. As it does, because we're gonna go load that save we just made and lure her out.
You step into the shadows and are enveloped in total darkness. Your heart pounds in your chest, ears pricked, eyes wide despite the inky blackness, waiting for any sign of movement. That's right. Keep steady. Don't let your nerves get the better of you. There, she's about to strike. With the near silence of a determined predator, the princess erupts from the shadows. But you've already started your swift escape. That That's stage 1. Now stay focused. You dive into the tunnel and begin scrambling up towards the cabin. You hear her behind you, claws raking at the dirt, chains rattling, then snapping, breaths hot and heavy with the effort of the ascent. But the sounds are coming slower now, the breaths pained and stuttering. You no longer sense frantic motion behind you in the tunnel. You risk a glance. She is a broad and sickly creature, her withered and emaciated flesh clinging to bones too large to fit in the narrow space. She managed to squirm her way into the tunnel in pursuit, but now she's stuck, incapable of either moving towards you or returning to the open darkness of the basement below. So that's what she's become. She wasn't like this when we started. Was she? No, she wasn't. Looking at her makes me feel sad. Yeah, now that we can see her, she doesn't feel like much of a threat at all. She paws futilely at the air between you, but her shoulders are pinned in the narrow confines of the opening. She has no hope of reaching you. And she realizes this. Her arm goes limp, flopping to the dirt floor of the tunnel, and her eyes fall from yours, defeated. Her eyes look up at yours, wide, pleading. Come back, you can imagine them saying. Don't leave me here. But you shouldn't listen to the sad eyes of a vanquished enemy. She wants nothing more than to change places with you. If you want us to ignore her, then why would you tell us any of that wide, pleasing eyes begging for mercy business to begin with? All it does is make us feel conflicted. I'm merely describing things as they are. It's not my fault that her eyes had something to say, even if that something was a ploy, which, if I might stress, I pointed out to you. What should we do about her anyway? Can she still end the world like this? She hurts. We should help. Now let's think for a second. Let's reevaluate. Should we help her? Well, I do feel bad looking at her. There's no way to get close without being in reach of those claws. We've come this far, but can we trust a creature that until a few short moments ago fully intended to eat us? What an excellent question with an equally excellent answer. No, you should not help her. She's clearly just waiting for you to drop your guard. And beyond that, you do well to remember that she poses a threat to reality itself. You already have a weapon, and she's as vulnerable as she's ever going to be. How about you use it?
Let's drop another save. And turn around and leave. You're done here.
You turn back towards the exit, leaving her behind. But the tense silence of the tunnel is suddenly interrupted by the panicked, guttural wails of a creature in distress. She has redoubled her struggle against the confines of the earth around her, the very walls shaking as she desperately thrashes against them. She is stuck here, right? Of course, it's too small for her to get up here. But is up here stable? I don't know. I didn't think about that when I started to plan all this. It isn't. It's only dirt and stone, and she is very, very big. Hurry! You do your best to scramble up towards the exit, but you barely manage to get halfway before the ground beneath you begins to crumble. And she is getting closer, her breath hot on the back of your neck. Damn it all! This whole thing is just an exercise in futility, isn't it? No words, only action. Keep running. But the tunnel collapses before either you or the princess manage to reach the exit. Everything goes dark and we die? Oh no, you're perfectly fine. You're just buried under literal tons of earth, as is the princess. Why, for the love of everything, did I not think about the stability of the tunnels? I'm supposed to be smarter than this. I'm supposed to have a plan for everything. this is all my fault. I was the one who started worrying about this place falling apart. And what, you think worrying made the tunnel collapse? I don't know. Maybe. It was physics. You can't change things just by thinking about them. That's ridiculous.
Bickering and bickering doesn't matter, because now we're here, stuck in a dark place. Not a place to move, not even room to dig.
Something shifts in the gloom around you. An eye opens. The wet glint of it pierces the darkness, its pupil focused on you. The princess. At least she's as stuck as you are. Not that it'll do much good in the end. Stuck is still alive.
But it's not alive forever. I can smell the end all around us. Sweet and empty. This is where we die. I'm going to lie down now.
The eye stares at you with resignation, a glimmer of regret. Are we going to be here forever? Is this my fault?
This is both of our faults. I'm sorry. Struggle for yourself?
Good luck with that. You do your best to move your body, but try as you might, your earthen coffin doesn't budge in the slightest. This is pointless. Just give up already and die a miserable death with the rest of us. And then we'll start again and we'll do better.
Still the blade. Maybe I can still end this.
I wish that were the case, but she's too far away for you to reach, and even if she weren't, your arm is pinned. Can you make it unpinned? Of course he can't. We've been over this. You can't just change reality on a whim. That's what makes it real. He's right. There's nothing I can do here. I'm sorry.
No more circles to run in. It's time to sleep.
This is both of our faults. I'm sorry.
A tear clouds the eye. It's okay. It isn't. If this is the end, don't reconcile with this creature, revile her. This is her fault. She did this. We all know where this is going, so get on with it. All right, I'll go into extra detail, just for you. The weight of the world you have destroyed rests on your chest. It both crushes and cradles you, holding your lungs in a stasis where you can never take in quite enough breath for comfort. Your limbs ache, muscles screaming in their locked positions, one arm slowly growing numb as your blood struggles to reach it. There is dirt in your eyes. They fill with tears. Okay, I think that's enough. We get the picture. Skip to the everything goes dark part, please. No, not quite yet. I haven't even gotten to the starvation, or the thirst. That gnawing that starts as a nibble, a little reminder that despite it all, you're still alive. You can see that she too feels herself being eaten from the inside. Her gaze never leaves you. Any semblance of thought has vanished, replaced with a desire for the only thing that can sate her hunger. You can feel a strain as your parched mouth attempts and fails to water. But even with a dry tongue, your hunger is such that you can't help but think about what her flesh might taste like. Don't think I'll forget how much you're enjoying this, you sick bastard. Don't worry, the end is close. Your mind grows cloudy as your blood slows, your chest trying to suck in enough oxygen to feed your starved muscles, your bruised ribs doing little more than bumping up against hard, packed dirt. You aren't even sure you have limbs anymore, and whether the vacant ache where they once were is just the memory of limbs. Any second, you might breathe in one last, shallow, earth shot. Well, are we almost done yet?
He's gone.
And we're somewhere new. Is this what happens when we really die?
Neither you nor the princess ever draw that final breath, because neither of you dies here. As the world around you unwinds, she places her head at your feet. I'm cold, say her eyes. I don't want to be cold. You don't get the opportunity to respond, nor will you ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns. Drop save. Load the other one. We're not done yet. Drop the blade and approach her.
The princess's eyes go wide as the blade tumbles from your hand. You're going to get yourself killed. What are you doing? We could all just turn around and be done. What's your game? You and I both know there's no game. He's made a bad choice. As you draw near, she readies her claws, raising them to strike.
Don't flinch. Show her our resolve.
Yes, we're saving it again. Because we're offering her our hand.
You reach forward, offering the princess your hand. How ridiculous. She was about to kill you. Do you really think getting stuck in a tunnel for less than a minute has fundamentally changed her?
Yes, she's a victim of her own nature, just like we are.
If all she wanted was to kill us, she'd have kept trying. But she's hesitating, isn't she? Yes, she is. Her eyes shift from faux ferocity to confusion to a gentle sadness. She lowers her claw and places it in your hand. Ugh. Do you think we can pull her out of there?
We have to try. It's a bad death being stuck in place.
And what if it doesn't work? What if we can't trust her? We have to trust someone else eventually. It's either him or her, and I know you don't trust him. I don't even trust the rest of you, but that doesn't mean we have to go around pulling bloodthirsty monsters out of perfectly good traps. But we haven't seen what happens if we help her. Doesn't that mean it's worth exploring? I can't argue with that. Alright, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll finally get some answers.
Hold her free.
You tug, but the princess remains stuck. What a shame that the bones of her massive form are too large to fit through the narrow tunnel. Keep pulling. All he has are empty words. He can't undermine us if we don't listen. You are all infuriating to work with. But fine, you continue to pull on the princess's arm and she starts to budge. She pushes with her back legs, clawing at the earth, a burst of strength aiding your efforts. The dirt and stone start to crumble around her. That's the spirit. Keep going. Yes, quickly, before the whole tunnel comes down on top of us. Yes, wouldn't that be an interesting development? What if the very nature of this tunnel was such that you were incapable of leaving safely with the princess? How devious. Does it collapse? Yes, it does. As you pull the princess free, the tunnel around you does exactly what you thought it might do. It falls apart.
Trapped. No, we have to get out. We have to get out.
It's too late to scramble for freedom now, little voice. You didn't think just pulling her out of there would be consequence-free, did you? Well, the ceiling collapses, heavy stones tumbling down on top of you and the princess, and I don't believe it. Let me guess. Everything goes dark, and we die. No, not yet. You open your eyes to see the princess, her body stretched over yours, her face wincing as she shields you from the heavy rocks and debris. There is space enough for you to move, at least for now.
I'll be damned. So there's more to her after all.
The pack is always stronger than the lone hunter. We save her, she saves us. She understands.
Well, you can't keep saving each other forever. Her arms are already starting to give out, and there's a whole mountain of earth on top of her, just waiting to bury you both.
We can always dig, both of us.
It beats suffocating to death down here in the dark.
Then let's do it.
Dig through the earth together.
You and the princess dig through the loose earth of the collapsed tunnel together. How sweet. But it seems the harder you try to claw your way forward, the denser the path becomes. All of this effort, and for what? A chance to end the world? I hope you fail.
His words are nothing. Pay attention to what you feel and see.
It doesn't matter if you ignore me, because I'm just telling you what's happening, and what's happening is that you and the princess are getting tired, and your mouths are full of dirt, and it's getting harder to breathe.
Harder to breathe is still breathing.
Well, either way, the two of you are miserable. I don't know, I feel like we're forming a bond with her. Can't be all that bad if we're bonding. She's not capable of bonding. Need I remind you that as soon as she saw you, she tried to eat you? You are not friends, and as soon as you're out, you'll see just how seriously she values your life.
If you were so sure we were going to fail, you wouldn't sound so desperate. You're just hot air. There's nothing of substance to you at all, is there?
I have plenty of substance. I have feelings and desires. Like my desire to save everyone in the world. I feel that very strongly.
Do you smell it? Fresh air.
Claw your way to freedom.
With one final massive heave of her body, the princess pushes her way out of the tunnel, leaving you behind in the quickly collapsing space you once shared. Yours was an alliance of convenience, just as I predicted. She has left you to die, buried and alone.
You are unbelievably petty.
Oh, my pettiness is nothing compared to yours. You were delighting in my suffering and the damnation of the entire world just moments ago.
She hasn't left. She's coming back. Don't you hear her?
No, she isn't. She's...
How many times do you have to be wrong before you stop talking?
The princess stares down at you from the opening. Before the tunnel can finish sealing itself, she cranes her elongated neck and gently plucks you from the earth. She carries you across the half-collapsed ruin that was a cabin, carefully setting you down by the door. If there were to be a record, let it show that I tried. I really, really tried. But there won't be a record, will there?
Open the door and step into the wilds.
You open the door, the two of you stepping out into the fresh air and collapsing together onto the dewy grass of the outside world.
Ha! We're outside, and there's ground beneath our feet. I don't see any oblivion. Admit it. There never was an end of the world coming, was there?
He does not reply.
Yeah, we got him there, didn't we? I don't think I've ever seen him stunned into silence before.
Can't you feel the hole where he was? He's gone.
Fancy that.
I'm not sure gone is good.
The princess rests her head close to you. Her eyes stare into yours amid the untextured threads of a world unraveled. Are we free? They ask. I'm cold. I don't want to be cold. But you don't get the opportunity to respond, nor will you ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns. Alright. 1 more time. This is major den cleanup. And we're still not done. We still a little bit to go. But this is the last bit for Skeptic, anyway. Flinch.
Bad. This is a bad thing to do. Against the wise protestations of the little voice in your head, you flinch, and the princess's claws rake across your body, tearing you open. You fall forward, and she hooks you with her paw, dragging you towards her. You start to grow cold. She prods you in an almost sorrowful confusion, hoping for some reaction. But there is no reaction for her to find. Your body is irreparably broken. I don't think she wanted to hurt us.
And yet she did. Intent matters less than facts.
Her sorrow doesn't last, and when it's gone, she begins to feast.
Pray again. It's all just a circle, and it never ends.
But the circle doesn't close, nor will it ever. It's time to leave. Memory returns. Alright, let's just double check status of Den here. Ooh, that's a cleanup. Alright.
She's gone.
But I want to go with what I want. This is why I made the save.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
Approach the mirror. You approach the mirror.
This doesn't feel right. It feels different. Final. That thing reeks of death.
You're right. Part of me wants the truth, but something stronger is holding me back. Fear.
Voices feel small, distant, as you approach. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone once again. The mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what's in it. You've withered. You find yourself in the long quiet once again. You are at the cabin. Approach. Thank you.
I am a growing chorus of contradiction, a mass of tides ebbing and flowing all at once in more directions than my attention can bear to hold. To look at any one is to shift them all into something new, and to look away is to reshape them yet again. All of me is changing, and yet the rest of me is still the same.
What do you think of this vessel? I'm curious if it says anything different. Probably not, but...
This one is consumed by instinct, a dancer moving to the rhythm of the flesh. She will make for a ravenous heart.
Oh, same thing.
She wishes me to devour you, to make you a part of myself, but she is only a voice. Do not mourn her, for she is part of something greater.
Alright, ready to go back.
I will be here when it is time for us to meet again.
Everything goes dark, and you die. Whew. That's some serious expansion on Den, though. Wow. But that wraps up Skeptic Path of Den. Like I said, we still have a little bit with Stubborn, but we'll get back to that some. For now, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider tossing a like, comment, subscribe, maybe click that little bell for those notifications. Also be sure to check out the description below, various links, social media, Discord. Come hang out, get notifications are there as well. And until next time, this is rinimt signing out. Bye!